Introduction. There are many masterworks of the imagination in human history, and among those exhibiting the greatest impact and sweep are the ones dealing with the ancient Greek myth of Prometheus. A large body of scholarship and artistic expression across a number of cultures has been the result. Scholars analyze, compare, and contrast the many versions. They relate them to figures such as Jesus and creation myths such as the biblical fall of man. Paintings abound of Prometheus in chains. Sculptures stand in New York's Rockefeller Center and Louvre in Paris. Musicians find inspiration, poets the muse, novelists and movie makers find raw material in the image. In a word, Prometheus the Firebringer is ubiquitous. The Titan's universal appeal is not hard to understand, so evocative is his story. The sheer grandeur of it, the graphic detail, the diabolical nature of his punishment. But more important is Prometheus as the towering icon, the hero who brought the divine spark to mankind and without hesitation transgressed into the realm of the gods to do so. There is the symbolism of the fire itself, which so readily, especially in the powerful text of the genius known to us as Aeschylus, represents the spark of human consciousness, the animating spirit, the phenomenon of self-awareness, which sets man apart from all other animals, and yes, makes him somehow divine, godlike. Then there is the underlying cosmic theme, that overreaching action, pride, and defiance in the face of established authority are not to go unpunished. This added dimension, punishment, historically stands as the primary inspiration for most of the visual art dealing with the Prometheus myth. It also explains why Prometheus still connects so readily to the human condition now in the third millennium after he was first conceived. This cosmic theme plays out on a grand scale for two aspects of America's history. First, there was the great controversy in the New Republic over the role of God, specifically over church-state separation. America, many Christians claimed, defied the Christian God by ratifying a godless constitution, a transgression for which it has been made to suffer ever since, justifiably, they would say. Second, late in the Western Enlightenment, a distant cluster of British colonies with scant military means rose up against the world's greatest power and was victorious. It then proceeded to form a new government which, in effect, deified the individual, declaring his right to life, liberty, property, and the pursuit of happiness. Then it had the audacity to limit the new government to the protection of those rights, explicitly relegating it to the service of that deified individual. Many have claimed that such defiance can only invite the wrath of established authority. In this short work, the first two chapters outline and explain the rise of America's defiant Promethean spirit. Chapters 3 to 5 recount the demise of that spirit and why it was inevitable. Chapter 6 focuses on a 20th century Heracles who essentially unleashed Prometheus again on the world and served in the process as an intellectual catalyst for the recovery of America's original spirit. The final chapter, number 7, advances a vision of how this recovery will lead to a second American Enlightenment, a second age of reason. Prometheus the Firebringer is the leitmotif throughout the following. His story is rich in metaphor. Prometheus as the archetype of defiance, his torch as a symbol of reason and thought, Zeus as the great symbol of authority, chains as the tool used by authority to suppress defiance, Heracles as liberator. All these metaphors will be drawn upon in what follows to illuminate America's complex history, past, present, and to come.